know that God is always with us, and sometimes I find it helpful to actually picture Jesus, like ask Jesus, where are you? And picture him near me. And I just want to share a couple stories where I did that and had just like such amazing, touching, life giving, faith exploding results. So one time was I did a youth with a mission out in Brisbane, Australia, and I was at a church service there, and so during worship time, I just asked Jesus, where are you right now? Where are you in the room? And he appeared right in front of me, which is very different. Normally, I see him when I do that within like a group setting. I see him like on the side or somewhere else. But this time he appeared right in front of me, and he was looking directly at me, looking into my eyes, and so we just were standing there looking at each other, looking into each other's eyes for a while, and then he reached out his hand into my chest and started massaging my heart, and I could feel it. I could feel my heart being massaged. It was the craziest thing. And then afterwards, and I don't know how, it seemed like it went on for a few minutes, and then I don't remember how it ended. But afterwards, the pastor actually came up to me and he was like, "You were having a moment with Jesus, weren't you?" Which I wish I had asked him how he could tell, because anyway, it just would have been interesting. But that was so cool. And then another time where I had an experience that was amazing by picturing Jesus, and intangible, a physical experience, was I was sitting on my bed, and I was actually okay. So I was picturing Jesus on the bed right next to me. He was also chilling there, and I was sitting up, and I was actually wedged between the headboard and the corner of the room in a wall. And I was picturing Jesus just sitting next to me, leaning against the headboard. And my shoulder really started hurting. And so I asked Jesus, I was like, "Jesus, will you please just touch my shoulder and make the pain go away?" And instantly the pain left. And it was like, I started crying. I was like, "Ah, you are here." It's like not just my imagination. And and then I continued journaling and reading and hanging out with him. And maybe like 15 minutes later, the pain came back. And I was like, "That's so weird. Like, what the heck? You just healed me." And I heard him say, "It's the way you're sitting." And so I adjusted to, rather than being in the corner, just leaning against the headboard as well. And then within a couple minutes, the pain was gone. And so that, I mean, that also taught me a lesson. It was kind of twofold of like amazing to use our imaginations, picture Jesus with us to facilitate deeper connection and more encounters with him. And also, it taught me the lesson that even if God heals us, if we don't change our habits that caused us to get that way in the first place, then it's just going to come back. And it doesn't mean that we weren't healed. It doesn't mean that God isn't real or didn't heal us or whatever. But it just, I mean, we need to change our habits so that we can keep our healing. And it reminds me of how Jesus would tell people after Jesus healed them, he would say, "Go and sin no more, lest something worse will happen to you." And so that's a big part of it is us changing our lives, going and sinning no more, regardless of what the healing is. There, like, our bodies and our souls and our spirits are all so intricately connected, and the consequence of sin in any way is death. And so the scripture talks a lot about that. But so just making sure we're living according to God's ways and in good habits, and that is what enables us to sustain life, to sustain health. So anyway, those were some encounters that I had by starting with just picturing Jesus in the room, asking him where he's at, what he's doing, and which led to deeper encounters with him.